Hi, in this third video we are going to focus on the data communication between the client-side HTML and the server-side .NET code. So we already accomplished returning the HTML files, and we've already accomplished printing a report and calling any batches from our original program. Now we need to focus on getting the actual customer data. Now most communication between client and server happens between multiple small microservices or web requests that return either XML or JSON or any other format that you want to do. But we want to focus now on returning the customers based on the search string to the client side. So let's go see how it's done. We're going to go back to our .NET project, and we're going to add another method which we're going to call customers, and that is going to return a data result. Great. Now the original application had tables in it, and we have the customers table here with all of its columns. In the migrated .NET application, we have the equivalent thing. Tables in .NET are called models, and here we can see the customer table with all of the columns of that customer table. Now let's go and drag and drop this into our code, and we'll create a variable, call it customers. Next thing we want to do, we want to create a small batch task in Magic, or in .NET it's called a business process. So we're going to say var bp equal new business process. Its main table is going to be the customers table that we've defined over here. Cool. Next we're going to define a result object. We're going to say var result equals new data list. And we're going to run our business process. And we're going to ask it for each row. We're going to add to the result an item based on the customers table. And then we're going to return the result. So let's review. We have 5 lines of code. The first one defines the tables that we want to use. The second one defines what you call in Magic a batch task, and we call a business process, with the main table of customers. We've defined the result object, and we've ran the batch task, and this is like the equivalent of a record suffix in Magic, or we call it row in .NET, that will happen for each row in the data. Cool. Let's build it and run it from the browser and see what we get. So here we are back in our browser. We're going to copy this URL. We're going to go here and say /customers. Now, notice that without me spending any effort on it, I immediately got the data back at a format called JSON. Okay? And this is something that .NET just does for me. I don't need to handle the subtleties of different formats that I want to communicate back and forth. You know, when I was trying to create JSON in the past, I used to struggle in Magic with special characters and the structure and the architecture using merge documents. I don't need that. .NET takes care of everything for me. Not only that, the same code that I've written actually doesn't say anywhere that I'm going to use JSON, which is kind of great because now I can go and say, for the same effort, please return the response as XML. And now we'll get it as a properly formatted XML, or maybe get it as a CSV. And now I'll get a CSV file that contains all the data of that table. So the idea here is that I don't need to meddle with specific implementations of communication protocols such as XML or JSON or whatever. .NET just does the job for us. And just like I've written this code from scratch here in these 5 lines of code, I can add the data result to any existing programs that I have and immediately dump its data view back. I can even do it to online programs and extract their data view and return that data view back to the browser as a JSON format, which can then be reused in your HTMLs. Great. Next thing we want to do, we're going to filter the customers based on the value. I want to say something like, if I said customers/B, I want to get only customers that start with B. Well, we've already seen that the third slash here goes into the ID parameter of our method. So we're going to go to our method, and we're going to say here string ID, and then we can say bp where add where c.company name starts with the IDs that we got as a parameter. Okay, this is the equivalent of adding a range to a Magic program. So now when I refresh it, I will only get customers that start with a B, or C, or D, anything I want. And the same thing I can achieve with the response of XML. or CSV. Again, I didn't need to change any code here. So we've accomplished this one, and this one. And to complete our server-side code, we're going to return the orders, just like we've done with the customers. This is going to be very straightforward. Let's do it quickly. We'll go back to our code. We'll add another public data result orders that will get an ID. And the original application had an orders table with all of its columns. So in .NET, we can see that same orders table in our models with all of its columns. We're going to drag and drop it into our code. Just like before, we're going to add a business process, which is the equivalent of a batch task that will run on the main table O, which is the orders that we've defined over here. We're going to add a range to it. Customer ID is equal to the ID that we got as a parameter. We're going to define the result object. And we're going to say for each row, result add item based on O. And eventually return the result. Great. Now we'll go back to our browser to test. We're going to copy this and say /orders. Obviously we'll get nothing because we haven't provided any customer ID. But now we're going to ask it, okay, let's choose a specific customer ID. And we'll get the orders for that customer. Again, the default is JSON format, but I can just as easily change it to be XML or CSV or any other future format that may come up, because I have the source code for everything and I'm in complete control. So in this demo, we were able to demonstrate how we can easily reuse migrated code as part of a web application. We were able to implement all of these requests in under 10 minutes of getting data and reusing existing code and using the existing data access layer. And we can actually reuse any piece of code that exists in our application with a bit of refactoring. We can use it without any refactoring like we've done over here. We can reuse the data access layer like we've done over here. And we can reuse the data view of any existing programs that we've migrated as well. And you could also see that writing in .NET using MVC.NET powerful MVC.NET engine that takes care of the HTML and having to write only a minimum HTML code works for me and makes my life a lot easier. You could see how HTML is just one line of code. And you could see how the core architecture allows me with just 6 lines of code here, 6 lines of code here, to do something that will take me a bit longer and will be a lot more fragile in any other technology. So in the next videos, we're going to implement the client-side HTML and JavaScript. It has nothing to do with .NET, it just hopefully is interesting. Stay tuned.